This is Just Listen. You don't need to watch. Just listen. In the middle of the 1300s, a disease crossed into Europe that people called by several names: the Great Mortality, the Pestilence, later the Black Death. Today we know the main killer was bubonic plague caused by a bacterium carried by fleas that lived on rats. It did not start in Europe. It moved along the trade routes of the time, out of Central Asia, through the Black Sea into Mediterranean ports. In 1347, ships reached Italian cities. From there it spread inland with terrifying speed. Within a few years, large parts of Europe had lost a third to half their people. Some places were hit harder. In London, roughly half the population died in a short stretch of years. Whole villages emptied. Fields went unplanted. There were not enough hands left to bury the dead, so bodies were stacked in mass graves. People did not understand germs. Many believed the plague traveled in poisoned air, a miasma, so they tried to protect themselves with strong smells. Physicians and others carried pouches or cones filled with herbs, spices, and perfume. The idea was simple. If you couldn't smell the sickness, maybe it couldn't reach you. Those beaked masks you see in pictures came from that belief. There was no real medicine that worked. Some fled the cities, some prayed, some blamed outsiders, most just endured it. Survivors later described streets where the living were outnumbered by the dying, and a silence that fell over towns that had been loud a season before. By the early 1350s, the worst wave had passed, but the disease did not disappear. It returned in smaller epidemics for centuries, sometimes every decade or two. England saw major outbreaks again in the 1360s and beyond. The last great plague of that older pattern in Western Europe is often dated to London in 1665. The first wave burned itself out because so many had already died. Some survivors had immunity, and the conditions that fed a continent-wide fire eased. Europe did not defeat the Black Death in 1351. It survived it, then lived with smaller returns for more than 300 years. Labor became scarce after the first wave. Wages for ordinary workers rose in many places because there were fewer people left to do the work. That was one of the few lasting changes ordinary people could feel in their own lives. The Black Death was not a single dramatic week. It was years of loss that cut through every level of society and left behind empty houses, empty fields, and a memory of a world that had suddenly become much smaller. This has been Just Listen.